When a super-powered alien invades Earth in search of 3 mystical artifacts capable of destroying entire planets, Batman must assemble a group of superheroes to try and stop his world from being destroyed. Today we're going to recap the story of the movie, Zack Snyder's Justice League, from 2021. After Superman's perishment and his selfless sacrifice for humanity, one of the mother boxes brought to Earth by Darkseid awakens. As a result, the other 2 boxes, which are in the Mistera and Atlantis, are also activated. Knowing that this signal means that dark forces are about to arrive on the planet, Bruce Wayne goes after Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman, for help. Batman then invites him to join a group of superheroes he is assembling to defeat Darkseid, but the King of the Oceans refuses to take part in the battle. That day, in Metropolis, a group of criminals in suits invade the central bank and overpower all the customers. Among them are many children who visited the bank during an excursion organized by the school. As the police are prevented from entering so as not to put the lives of innocent people at risk, Diana decides to act and uses the lasso of truth to discover the reason for the invasion. One of the gang members reveals that a bomb has been planted inside the bank and, in a few seconds, 4 city blocks will be destroyed. Upon hearing this, Wonder Woman immediately bursts into the room and fights off numerous armed men on her own to get to the bomb. After catching it, Diana flies out of the building and throws the explosive into the atmosphere, preventing the detonation from reaching the city. Furious that his plan won't be completed, the commander of the criminal operation grabs a gun to eliminate all the innocents and is once again interrupted by Wonder Woman, who uses her armor to block all the bullets. When the cartridge runs out, she unites her bracelets to get rid of the criminal and destroys a large part of the building, but at least she manages to save all the innocent people. Meanwhile, in the Mistera, the mother box in the custody of the Amazons opens a portal through which Steppenwolf and his army of evil emerge. Immediately, the warriors start shooting their arrows at the enemy, but soon realize that they won't be able to defeat him. So a group of Amazons risk their lives to immobilize Steppenwolf while Hippolyta flees with the box. When the Queen manages to escape, the prison plunges off the cliff and into the ocean, claiming the lives of dozens of Amazons. However, this sacrifice was not enough to eliminate Steppenwolf's army, which left the sea immediately afterwards and went after the box that the Queen had given to one of her warriors. Once again, the Amazons unite to stop the villain from taking the box, but all their efforts are in vain and Steppenwolf finally succeeds in his goal. After the battle, Hippolyta becomes the only warrior capable of continuing the battle and is about to be eliminated when a large army of Amazons approaches on the horizon. Seeing the large number of opponents he will have to face, Steppenwolf decides to flee and opens a portal that takes him to Earth. Now his mission is to find the other 2 boxes and destroy the planet in order to please Darkseid, his nephew, and make him recognize his worth. In an attempt to warn her daughter of the danger the human world is about to face, Hippolyta sends Artemis Arrow to set fire to the Amazon sanctuary on the island of Crete. Diana is at work when she discovers the fire on the news and soon realizes that it is a warning sent from the Mistera. The night before, one of the parademons broke into the Star Laboratory, where Dr. Silas Stone works, in order to steal the second box. In the morning, the police are called to investigate and discover that scientists there are storing and studying alien technology, such as Superman's spaceship. The police reveal to Dr. Silas that 8 employees of the laboratory were captured last night and a witness has made a sketch of the creature that took them. Silas immediately realizes that the alien has gone there with the mission of stealing the mother box and immediately returns home. Then the man discovers that Victor is with the object, which means that he is safe for the time being. Upon arriving at the Amazon sanctuary, Diana finds Artemis Arrow and her suspicions are confirmed. After breaking into the temple, she finds a secret passage that leads to a room with the story of how those boxes ended up on Earth nailed to the wall. During a conversation with Desaad, Steppenwolf says he regrets betraying his nephew and reveals that he hopes to be able to return home after destroying that planet in the name of Darkseid. When she returns from Crete, Diana goes to Bruce's mansion to pass on the information she has gathered and tells him that beings from another universe are coming to destroy humanity. According to her, thousands of years ago, Darkseid and his army invaded the planet and fought bloody battles against Earth's defenders. The ancient gods along with men, Atlanteans, Amazons and Guardians of the Stars united to fight Darkseid, who planned to use the 3 mother boxes to destroy the planet and dominate the survivors. However, before the villain could synchronize the 3 boxes to carry out his plan, Earth's defenders attacked and together managed to injure Darkseid, who was taken to his ship and transported back to Apokolips. On that day, they won a victory that no other planet was capable of and sent their enemies home empty-handed. During the escape, Darkseid's army ended up leaving the 3 mother boxes behind and each one was taken into the custody of a different people. Men, Atlanteans and Amazons swore an oath to protect those artifacts and ensure that they would never fall into enemy hands again. However, the Amazons were unable to fulfill their mission and Steppenwolf managed to take one of the boxes. Now, the villain will hide until he finds the other 2 boxes, and the only way to stop the alien from destroying the planet is to gather a group of superheroes to stop him. Barry Allen is a young man who lives in Central City and is desperate to find a job. While handing in his CV at a pet shop, he witnesses a traffic accident in which a beautiful young woman crashes her car into a truck. She is about to fly out of the vehicle when Barry uses his superpowers to rescue her and, at high speed, prevents the girl from dying in the crash. Unlike Flash, who puts himself at the service of humanity, Victor Stone is a bitter guy who, at school, was the best soccer player in his class. His mother, Elinori, was his biggest fan and supporter, unlike his father who spent most of his time working in the lab and was rarely present in Victor's life. After winning another football championship, the young man was driving home with his mother when they both had an accident and Elinori perished. A few days later, Silas was told that his son would not be able to resist either, as a large part of his body had been destroyed. So, in a complete act of desperation, he awakened the power of one of the mother boxes and managed to use it to rebuild his son's body. Now, in addition to super strength and flight capabilities, Victor has acquired the ability to hack and invade any technological system, even being able to launch an entire nuclear arsenal with a single thought. Barry's biggest dream is to get a degree in criminal law so he can get his father out of jail, because Henry was wrongly imprisoned on charges of murdering his own wife. Since then, the young man has dedicated his life to freeing his father from prison, so in an attempt to lift this burden from Barry's back so that he can get on with his life, Henry asks his son not to visit him anymore. That afternoon, when he gets home, Barry runs into Bruce Wayne, who claims to know that he has special abilities. However, the young man denies the existence of his superpowers, even though he has a superhero costume in his house. So Bruce decides to throw a batarang at Barry to test his skills, and he instantly dodges the attack. When he comes across that bat-shaped boomerang, the young man soon realizes that Bruce is Batman and immediately agrees to join his team. They then get into the Batmobile and head for Wayne Manor. Meanwhile, Diana goes to meet Victor and tries to convince him to join the group of superheroes who will fight to save the world. But after losing everything he loved, Victor says he no longer cares about the planet and leaves. That night, he decides to pay a visit to his mother's grave and buries one of the mother boxes in Elinori's grave. Later, when Silas returns home, he is surprised by a parademon and ends up being captured by the creature, who takes him to a prison where all the other employees he captured at the Star Laboratory are being held. Hours later, the box under Atlantis protection begins to awaken and Steppenwolf appears to take it. Commander Mara and her army try to stop him, but they are all defeated. Mara was about to be eliminated when Aquaman appeared and stopped Steppenwolf from hitting her with his axe. They immediately start a battle, but the villain manages to get the box and opens a portal to escape. Now that he is in possession of 2 of the 3 mother boxes, Steppenwolf is able to combine them to create a force field to protect his fortress. After the latest missing persons cases where people have reported seeing giant vampire bats flying around the city, Commissioner Gordon decides to go and talk to Bruce Wayne to find out if he has any involvement in this case. The man is aware that Batman has spent the last 20 years protecting Gotham from the most terrible threats, but he knows that even the most righteous man can be corrupted. To his surprise, Gordon discovers that Batman is assembling a team to destroy the parademons, and Victor, also known as Cyborg, decides to join them. As his father has also been captured, his best option is to join the group to rescue him and, with the help of the Commissioner, the superheroes manage to find out where the creature's nest is. Arriving on Stryker Island, the League storms the tower and finds the hostages being interrogated by Steppenwolf. When he sees his father being attacked, Victor is furious and rushes to save him. He is then followed by Diana, who brutally eliminates the parademons with her sword. When he realizes that this Amazon is stronger than any other he's met, Steppenwolf decides to take her on himself, and Batman goes after the aliens while Flash helps the prisoners escape. Knowing that his team is at a disadvantage in this battle, Batman asks Alfred to send Nightcrawler to help them and uses the robot to shoot the enemies. After removing all the prisoners from the tower, Flash returns to the battle and uses his super speed to help Wonder Woman recover her sword. After Nightcrawler is destroyed and knocked off the tower, Bruce ends up being injured and Flash is also unable to fight as he is buried in the rubble. So Diana has to face Steppenwolf alone and uses her bracelets to repel him. When he manages to get up, Barry ends up being wounded by the parademons and Batman manages to get out of the machine. At that moment, Cyborg appears and uses his powers to make Nightcrawler work again, then starts shooting at the enemy with heavy artillery. Realizing that he risks losing the battle, Steppenwolf decides to use the portal to escape and destroys the tunnel walls so that the place is flooded. The group is about to be swept away by the strong current when Aquaman appears and uses his trident to stop the water from reaching them. Thanks to him, the League gains time to reach the Nightcrawler, and Cyborg makes the machine scale the walls. After saving his team, the superhero goes to get the box he hid in his mother's grave and asks his new friends to help him protect it. However, when Victor arrives at Bruce's laboratory, the group starts interrogating him to find out how he found that box. The young man then tells them that the artifact was found by the Germans at the end of the Second World War, and, in 1944, they took the unknown object to the United States. Years later, one of the scientists at the Star Laboratory was able to make a connection between Superman's ship and the box, so he understood that both were alien technologies that came from different civilizations. Even though the artifact had been asleep for thousands of years, Silas formulated a theory on how to wake it up and managed to do so in order to channel the power of the mother box to save his son's life. After the experiment, the object went back to sleep, but was never returned to the laboratory. Since the box was able to restore Victor's life, everyone is thinking of using it to bring Superman back. The problem is that when the box is activated, Steppenwolf will detect it and be able to find them. Even so, Batman says it's worth the risk, because when Silas awakened the box a while ago, there was no invasion. This indicates that Steppenwolf is afraid of Superman, since he only decided to come to Earth after the Kryptonian was eliminated in battle. So that night, the League decides to dig up Superman's grave in order to recover his body and take him back to their ship. To complete this mission, Barry has to dress up as a military officer while Victor hacks into the system and creates a false identity so that his friend can get into the Star Lab. Victor then sets off the alarm so that the staff can begin the evacuation protocol, but Silas suspects that it is a false alarm and decides to remain in the building to investigate what has happened. At that moment, he comes across Victor and the other members of the Justice League, then discovers that it was his own son who hacked the system. Trusting that the young man had an important reason for entering the laboratory, the scientist decides to leave and join his colleagues. After entering the ship, Victor uses his powers to activate the box. In doing so, Darkseid immediately senses the object's presence and Cyborg is able to foresee an alternative version of the future that has just been unlocked. As he connects to the box, he sees all the members of the Justice League being eliminated by Darkseid, except Superman. Then, when Lois Lane is eliminated, the Kryptonian's rage awakens and he turns to the dark side. At this point, the box falls into the water, where Superman's body is submerged, and Flash uses his speed to produce enough energy to wake it up completely. Suddenly, a strong blast of energy destroys the roof of the ship and the box is thrown out. Lois Lane is at a location near the Star Laboratory and realizes that something suspicious has just happened, so she decides to go there. Suddenly, as if by a miracle, Clark Kent appears flying over the city and begins to analyze the members of the Justice League, as he has not yet been able to recognize them. At that moment, the self-defense system attached to Cyborg's body feels threatened and Victor is unable to control it. After the first shot, Superman begins his attack, as he is still confused and doesn't know who he really is. So the League must unite to try to contain him, but the Kryptonian is stronger than all of them put together and proves to be almost as fast as the Flash himself. Witnessing the attack, the military use their battle tanks to try and stop Clark, but the alien easily gets rid of them all with his heat vision. When Batman appears, Superman walks furiously towards him and attacks him. The Bat is about to be eliminated when Lois arrives on the scene and quickly manages to contain her fiancé's rage. At that moment, the couple hug and go far away. Soon afterwards, Steppenwolf appears to take the mother box, which is under Silas's protection. The scientist's plan is to hide the object in a safe place, but the alien invades the laboratory. So Silas decides to sacrifice himself to overheat the box and allow his son to locate it, in case the villain manages to take it. After witnessing his father's perishment, Victor is struck down and Steppenwolf finally steals the third box. He then escapes through the portal and Batman has the idea of using the satellite in his lab to track it down. Meanwhile, Clark takes his beloved to the house where he was brought up and which is now being sold by the bank because Martha hasn't been able to pay the mortgage. During their time there, Lois tries to help her fiancé remember who he was and, little by little, Clark recovers his memory. When he arrives at the lab, Batman and his team use the satellite to detect the box. At this point, Victor says that he will use his powers to invade the system, even though he knows that he could end up being eliminated, since the three boxes together are capable of destroying entire planets. With this plan in mind, the League boards the ship and flies to Pozarnov, a ghost town on the outskirts of Moscow that has been abandoned since the nuclear accident 30 years ago. But now the place is no longer radioactive, because Steppenwolf used all the radiation to build his base. Bruce's satellites show that the alien has built a defense barrier and the only way to disable it is to knock down the tower. Victor will then need to synchronize his system with the unit formed by the union of the 3 boxes and, with Barry's help, destroy it. To generate the energy charge needed to enter the artifact, Flash will have to run faster than ever and touch Victor's body. That way, he'll be able to destroy the unit from the inside before the 3 boxes synchronize. When he gets close to Steppenwolf's fortress, Batman asks his companions to get off the ship and prepare to invade while he knocks down the tower. Noticing the invasion, the alien sends his parademons to eliminate Batman and orders them to defend the unit at all costs. After landing the ship, Batman orders his team to follow the plan while he distracts the monsters and eliminates the enemies with his Batmobile. The Bat's plan consists of attracting the attention of the parademons so that they don't notice his companions approaching. During the battle, Batman manages to eliminate a large number of monsters, but his vehicle ends up being destroyed and the parademons manage to catch up with him. The superhero was about to be eliminated when Wonder Woman appeared and cut the aliens in half with her sword. The entire group then gathers to fight the enemies and protect each other while trying to reach the exact location where the unit is being synchronized. With his trident, Aquaman demonstrates all his power and eliminates the parademons with ease, while Batman continues to pave the way with the help of the Batmobile. Just then, Superman pays a visit to Wayne Manor and meets Alfred. The superhero knows that he has been resurrected for some reason and has gone there to find out what his mission is. At this point, the Justice League has already begun their plan to destroy the mother boxes and Flash is racing around the city in order to gain enough speed to produce the necessary energy surge. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman and Aquaman try to stop Steppenwolf and Victor positions himself in front of the headquarters to await Barry's arrival. However, just as Flash was about to touch Cyborg's body, he is captured by Steppenwolf and Diana uses her bracelets to take down the enemy. Immediately, Victor returns to his position and is pursued by the alien, who ends up being trapped by the lasso of truth. With Aquaman's help, Wonder Woman is able to capture the enemy, but Steppenwolf manages to defeat them and returns to eliminate Victor. Just then, Superman appears and uses his own body as a shield to protect Cyborg. He then releases his icy breath to destroy Steppenwolf's axe. As he pummels his enemy, Diana and Aquaman recover and enter the fray. Together, the trio manages to immobilize the villain, who is unable to fight back. While Superman uses his heat vision to rip off part of Steppenwolf's head, Victor connects to the unit and waits to receive the Flash's charge to gain entry. However, before he could catch up with his friend, Barry was shot and lost all the speed he had built up. Suddenly, a portal opens and Darkseid arrives on Earth with his army. To make matters worse, the 3 boxes finish the synchronization process and form the world-destroying unit. Immediately, its overwhelming force begins to spread across the planet, but Barry manages to think of a plan to prevent the Earth from being destroyed. The young man begins to run at a speed far beyond the speed of light and, as he approaches the fortress, everything around him begins to be rebuilt. This is because, thanks to the speed with which Flash moves, it is able to go back in time until it reaches the previous moment of complete synchronization. Thus, by touching Victor, Barry produces the energy necessary for Cyborg to enter the unit. Immediately, the young man's mind is invaded and the box tries to convince him to join his perished parents. However, he manages to resist this impulse and interrupts the synchronization. With Superman's help, Victor separates the 3 mother boxes and Steppenwolf is furious. At that moment, Aquaman pierces the villain's body with his trident and Clark sends him back to Apokolips. However, before Steppenwolf could cross the portal to join his nephew, Wonder Woman drew her sword and took off the enemy's head. Seeing one of his planet's greatest warriors being eliminated, Darkseid gives up on invading Earth and closes the portal linking the 2 worlds. Now that the mother boxes have been destroyed, the villain intends to find the anti-life equation to carry out his revenge on humans. Miraculously, after completing their mission, all the members of the Justice League are still alive and manage to return home unharmed. After saving the world as Aquaman, Arthur returns the trident to Vulko and returns to his peaceful life with his father. Bruce and Diana, with Alfred's support, find the mansion they want to turn into the headquarters of the Justice League. Even though he doesn't have a law degree, Barry gets a job as an intern in a crime lab and rushes to tell his father, who is extremely proud of him. With Bruce's help, Martha recovers her house, which had been foreclosed by the bank, and Clark feels very grateful to his friend. Now that all the superheroes have returned to their old lives, they continue to protect humanity anonymously until the moment when they need to come together again. In Gotham City, Lex Luthor, who was imprisoned in the Arkham Asylum, manages to escape and leaves another prisoner in his place to fool the police. When his escape is discovered, one of the guards triggers the alert button, but by then Luthor is already on a ship in the middle of the ocean and reveals Batman's true identity to Deathstroke. During the night, The Bat dreams of an alternative reality in which Lois Lane has been eliminated and the few surviving heroes must unite to defeat Superman. At that moment, the Joker appears and blames the Bat for letting Lois perish, because thanks to that, Clark allied himself with Darkseid and helped destroy the planet. As unlikely as it may seem, in this dream, the Joker is working with the Justice League to stop Superman. However, just as the battle was about to begin, Batman wakes up and is visited by the Martian Manhunter. The alien has gone there to inform them that the anti-life equation is hidden somewhere on Earth and they need to find it before Darkseid uses it to destroy the planet. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.